The wind howled above the clouds as a young woman dangled helplessly from a helicopter, her wrists bound with rough rope. Laughter echoed inside the aircraft, cruel, heartless laughter. The bullies thought it was all a twisted prank, something to record and brag about later. But little did they know, the girl they were mocking wasn't just some ordinary woman. She was an American officer, calm, trained, and armed with something even stronger than weapons: courage, compassion, and kindness. This was the moment that would change everything, not just for her, but for the bullies too. Before we jump into this unbelievable story of courage, kindness, and redemption, make sure to subscribe to your channel name. Hit the like button if you believe kindness still has power in this world, and share your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing your stories, and your support keeps these inspiring tales coming your way. Her name was Clara Mitchell, a 27-year-old woman from a small town in Montana. To most people, Clara was quiet, polite, and soft-spoken, the kind of person who would hold the door open for strangers or help carry groceries for an elderly neighbor. But behind that gentle smile was someone who had endured more than her share of pain. When she was a teenager, Clara had been bullied relentlessly in school. The same boys who once mocked her for her worn-out shoes and second-hand clothes now sat in that helicopter years later, wealthy, careless, and still cruel. They didn't recognize her at first. After all, years in the service had changed her. Her posture was firm, her eyes confident. But when fate crossed their paths again, it wasn't in a classroom, it was in the sky. It all started one hot summer afternoon when Clara was attending a private security training event on the outskirts of Arizona. A team of young men, sons of influential businessmen, were also there for adventure tourism, helicopter rides, skydiving, and stunts. One of them, Ryan Hales, had been her worst bully back in high school. He was charming on the outside but cruel behind the charm. When he spotted Clara in uniform, something about her quiet confidence got under his skin. He whispered to his friends, "Isn't that the same nerd from school? The one we used to tease?" They laughed, not knowing how different she'd become. When Clara approached their group later to offer help, pure kindness, nothing else, they mocked her again. "Oh, look, the tough soldiers being nice. Trying to impress us now," one of them sneered. She smiled faintly and said, "No, just trying to make sure everyone stays safe." They didn't appreciate it. Instead, they planned a harmless prank to humiliate her, something they thought would be funny. But their joke would soon turn deadly. The next morning, Clara was asked to join them for a test flight as part of a trust exercise. She had no reason to suspect anything, she believed people could change. As the helicopter lifted off the ground, the desert shrinking below them, the laughter began again. Ryan smirked and said, "Hey, remember when you cried after we ruined your science project?" Clara didn't answer. She just looked out the window, letting the wind whip against her face. Then, out of nowhere, one of the men grabbed her wrists and tied them with a rope. "Relax, it's a joke," he laughed. The others filmed on their phones, egging him on. Panic flickered in Clara's chest, but she didn't fight. She knew fighting back could make things worse. "Guys, this isn't funny," she said calmly, trying to reason. But they were too far gone in their cruelty. The helicopter tilted slightly, the side door opened to the open sky. Below was nothing but rocky ground and dust. Ryan stepped closer and said, "You always thought you were better than us. Let's see how brave you are now." And before anyone could stop him, he pushed. The world blurred into noise and light. Her heart pounded as the wind roared past her ears. But this wasn't the end, not for her. In one swift motion, Clara reached to her belt, cut the rope binding her wrists with the small survival blade she always carried, and pulled the emergency chute cord hidden beneath her vest. The parachute burst open above her, snapping in the wind. The bullies stared in shock from the helicopter, their laughter gone, replaced by silence. She drifted safely to the ground below, landing hard but steady. Her heart was racing, but her mind was calm. She had survived again. Minutes later, the helicopter landed nearby. The bullies stumbled out, pale and panicked, unsure what to say. They thought she'd die. They thought it would all be hidden away. But now they stood before the woman they tried to destroy, alive, fierce, and in control. Clara looked at them quietly. "You think this is a game?" she asked. You could have killed me. Ryan stammered, it was a mistake. We didn't mean to. But she raised her hand to stop him. No, she said firmly, you meant to humiliate me. You've done it before. The difference is, now I don't need revenge. I just need you to understand what you've done. And with that, she turned away, her voice softening. You want to know what power really is? It's not strength or money. It's kindness. It's restraint. Her words hung in the hot desert air, heavier than any weapon. Later, when the authorities arrived, called by the training staff who witnessed the whole event, the young men were arrested for reckless endangerment. But Clara didn't press for maximum punishment. She requested something different, community service under the Veterans Outreach Program. Her kindness shocked everyone, even the officers handling the case. When asked why she showed mercy, Clara simply said, I was given second chances in my life. Maybe they deserve one too. Weeks later, as the men worked alongside veterans cleaning parks and serving food to the homeless, something unexpected happened. They began to change. Ryan, once arrogant and shallow, found himself listening to the stories of wounded soldiers. One veteran told him, the hardest battle is against your own pride. Those words hit deep. Slowly, Ryan realized that Clara's strength didn't come from her uniform or her training. It came from her heart, her ability to forgive, to stay kind even when life gave her every reason not to. Months passed, and one evening, as the sun set behind the Arizona hills, Clara received a letter. It was from Ryan. The handwriting was shaky, but the words were sincere. He wrote, I can't undo what I did, but I'm trying to be better. You taught me more than any punishment ever could. Thank you, not for forgiving me, but for showing me what real courage looks like. Clara folded the letter with a quiet smile. She didn't need recognition or revenge. The real victory was in knowing that kindness had won again quietly, powerfully, and forever. A year later, during a ceremony honoring veterans who served both in combat and in peacekeeping missions, Clara was invited to speak. She stood before a crowd of hundreds, wearing her uniform proudly. She told them, kindness isn't weakness. It's the hardest thing you can choose when the world gives you reasons to hate. But if we choose it even once, it changes everything. I know, because it changed me, and it changed them. The audience rose to their feet, clapping, not just for her bravery but for the message that went deeper than any battle ever could. As the story of Clara Mitchell spread, people across the country began sharing it not as a tale of revenge, but as a reminder that kindness has the power to disarm even the cruelest hearts. And those bullies? They went on to live differently. Ryan joined a volunteer rescue group, dedicating his time to helping disaster victims. The others followed in similar paths, trying to repay the debt of mercy shown to them. Clara continued her service, traveling across the U.S., teaching young recruits about compassion under pressure. And every time she looked up at a helicopter flying across the sky, she didn't think about fear anymore. She thought about forgiveness and how it had set everyone free. In the end, this story isn't just about what happened in the air that day. It's about something much greater, the moment kindness became stronger than cruelty, and forgiveness turned enemies into human beings again. So, if you take anything from Clara's story today, let it be this: no act of kindness is ever wasted. It can heal, it can humble, and sometimes it can save lives. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to your channel name, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that kindness always wins. Because when the world gets dark, your kindness might just be the light someone's praying for.